Hi everyone, my name's Paul from Bernie's Learning. So today what we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about how to do VBA code that's designed to format cells. Now obviously there are literally hundreds of different ways you can format cells, and we're going to show you one simple trick that's going to allow you to work out all the code that you need for all the different formatting quickly and easily, and it doesn't take a great deal of effort. So let's get into it.
The simplest and easiest way to get VBA code for how to format a cell is to record a macro. So to give you an example, if I start recording macro and perhaps I want the code for how to get the text to be bolded in a cell, I can click bold, and once I have that, then I can go back and stop the macro if it will behave itself. There we go. Okay, and once we have that, then we can step inside our macro to have a look at what the code is that's being produced. So in this case, it's given us selection, font, and bold equals true. Now, when I say selection, that's normally how a recorded macro will be created, and selection is not ideal in terms of the code. So what you want to do is replace that with the cell reference. So for example, if I wanted to create a cell reference with just the range, I could put in range and then cell, let's say A1 for the example, and that's going to give you the correct code. So in some cases you'll get a very straightforward piece of code, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you'll get something that's a little bit more complex, and we'll show you an example of that right now. So the second example here, we'll record another macro, and this time what we'll do is we'll turn the background color of the cell yellow. So if we do that, recorded our macro, we could switch it off and then we can have a bit of a look at the code that's been created. Now in this example here, what happens is sometimes when you do things with cell with formatting, you'll get all of this stuff which still gives you a clue as to what's going on, but it's a little bit more difficult to pull apart what you actually need to do for the code. So in this particular example, and I'll just put the line below, we've got range B3, which is the cell I selected, and then with that selection, it's got all of these little things in here. Now, the only thing we actually want is the color. All of these other things are basically just default. So what we can do is we can say, well, range B3, and then the next piece of information that's useful is interior, okay, which is just there, and then it gives you the color, okay, which is so each one of the colors has a specific number. I can't remember how many numbers. There's a lot of numbers anyway, and that will give you the correct code. So you can pull it apart to just bring it down to one line. Now, if you're just not that confident with the code, what you can do is you can simply take the whole section and paste it in, and it will still work. So either way, this is probably the easiest way to find out how to do something when you don't know the actual code. And because formatting, the thing with formatting is that there's just so many variations of the types of formatting that you might use. You might change the font size, you might make it italic, you might change the font color, you might put a border around, you might put a fill in, and all of these different things all have different pieces of code, which is impossible to remember all of them. So this simple little method will allow you to find the code every single time, or alternatively, you can look it up on the internet. Now, to accompany this video, what we also have is a blog post which does have the code, has the examples I've just used, but also has the basic format of a whole heap of different VBA code that might be required. So if you want to visit that particular site to get a little bit more information, so sometimes things like underline has all of these different options, then visit this blog post, which I'll leave the link in the description. So I hope you found that useful, and if you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe for us, and otherwise, Have a great day and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.